You wrote the most thorough prompt of your life. Now the chat has all of it, the whole email thread, all the background, and every constraint the client ever mentioned. And still, the answer that came back is somehow worse than when you gave it just 2 lines. It's not exactly more vague because you gave it too little, but on the contrary, it's worse because you gave it too much. Every expert telling you to add more context skipped the part where more context actually breaks your results instead of improving them. By the end of this video, you'll know the one question that separates context AI can use from context that quietly poisons the answer. And you'll watch the same task break and fix right here without me changing absolutely nothing about the task itself. So here's the task. Your client asks a simple question: do we launch Thursday or delay? Since you obviously want AI to help you write a clear recommendation, you do the responsible thing. You give it everything. The whole thread, including all the notes, risks, exceptions, and messages from all 3 stakeholders who each want something different. And, lo and behold, it hands you this long-winded recommendation that in the end does not recommend anything at all. It's trying to serve 3 masters who disagree, so it refuses to pick. More context did not make it smarter, but rather it pushed it to some sort of analysis paralysis kind of zone. Yeah? Hello, I'm Zhenya, a project manager, information designer, and I spend my time on systems that quietly fail. This one is failing in front of every freelancer right now. We've been sold add more as the answer to a problem that adding more actually creates. The part about context engineering that tech influencers, productivity experts, and course sellers rarely mention is that AI cannot tell what, in that pile that you gave it, actually matters for the one answer you expect. Instead, it weights everything equally. The relevant stuff goes together with decisive stuff, which means that any contradictions morph into hedging and side details drag the answer sideways. The model cannot judge what's worth including because ultimately that judgment is yours. And arguably that's the fun part that you don't want AI to do for you anyways. Once you see why it breaks, you cannot unsee it. When you overstuff, essentially 3 things happen. Yeah? 1, irrelevant information doesn't just sit there, it competes with everything else. The AI has no way of knowing that the messages from a delivery company or some random email subscriptions do not matter to the launch decision, so it gives it weight anyways. Yeah? Number 2, contradictory context produces hedging. Give it 3 people who want 3 different things, and it averages them into some sort of non-answer because agreeing with everyone is the safest way to agree with the person who wrote the prompt. And lastly, number 3, overstuffing forces it to guess which constraint wins. When everything is marked as important, everything becomes equally unimportant. Yeah? So AI needs to pick for you from many different options, which all have equal weight to it, and it usually picks wrong. That non-answer wasn't caused by bad prompt. It was good information, curated in a terrible way. And actually, this problem existed before AI, you just never had to face it. Previously, when you gave too much information to a human being, they would usually prioritize one point of view, which made most sense. Whereas now, AI treats everything as equally important. Yeah? Okay, let's do the same task again. I'm not going to add a single thing, but I'm going to take things away instead. I'll keep the same question along with only 3 pieces of information. The decision the client actually needs, Thursday or push. Let's say we still haven't fixed the checkout bug, so my professional recommendation is to push to Monday. So now it looks a bit more clear and decisive. Maybe something closer to what you might actually want to send. You can guess the AI didn't get smarter between those 2 runs, but instead you got your human-powered decision into the loop. Okay, so now there's something you might not want to hear, but context engineering is mostly a new name for an ancient human skill. It essentially means that it is you who have to decide what matters and cut out what doesn't matter. And this is what editors, designers, and good consultants have always done, actually. Somebody gave it an engineering-sounding name, and suddenly it feels like a technical discipline you need a course for, but it isn't. The hard part was never the syntax, but the human judgment, which no model can hand you because it depends entirely on the specific output you're trying to get. And that's the thing that only you can see, right? All this means that you have one question that you want to ask every piece of your data before you enter it into the context. You're not asking whether it's true or relevant to the client, but would this change the answer you actually want? And just to be clear, by the answer here, I don't mean the decision, because that's up to you, obviously. What you want from AI is a draft of the memo or something else that you're actually going to send. And now let's run the whole pile for that one filter, and most of it doesn't survive. Perfect. That was your job all along, which AI was never going to do for you. Do you remember that giant prompt you were so proud of at the start? Now we know that the effort wasn't the point, and at least half of what you carefully pasted in was actually making the answer worse. The skill was never writing more, but knowing what to leave on the floor. So next time the AI gives you a hedged, confident sounding non-answer, don't add another paragraph to fix it, but take one paragraph away instead. Only keep the stuff that answer actually depends on, cut the rest, and run it again. And because curating the right context starts even earlier than the prompt. If the idea itself is still fuzzy, no amount of cutting fixes it. You end up trimming noise and keeping more noise. I actually made a whole video on exactly that problem right here, why you can't explain your idea to Claude, I think it's called. And that's it explains what's actually happening when the output comes back wrong. It picks up right where this one ends. Alright, so the correct answer is the right context, not more context. And only you can tell the difference. See you in the next one.